The concept known as the Nihilist Penguin originates from a real incident observed during the filming of the 2007 documentary Encounters at the End of the World, directed by Werner Herzog. While the documentary focuses on the scientists, researchers, and extreme environment of Antarctica, one quiet moment involving a single penguin became one of the most haunting and symbolic images associated with the film. During the observation of a large penguin colony, the crew noticed an unusual behavior that did not align with the known survival instincts of the species. Penguins are highly social animals whose survival depends on collective movement and cooperation. Their lives are organized around the colony, which provides protection, warmth, and direction. When penguins travel, especially to search for food, they instinctively move together toward the ocean. This movement is essential, as the ocean represents nourishment, continuation, and survival. The Antarctic interior, by contrast, represents isolation, extreme cold, emptiness, and inevitable death. In this particular moment, one penguin separated itself from the colony. Instead of moving toward the sea, it turned away and began walking alone toward the frozen interior of Antarctica. This decision appeared irrational and deeply unsettling because there was no visible external threat, no sign of injury, and no apparent confusion. The penguin did not hesitate or panic. It simply changed direction and continued walking. Scientists present during the filming explained that this behavior, although rare, has been documented before. When a penguin begins such a journey toward the interior, it cannot be stopped. Even if physically turned around, it will continue returning to the same fatal direction. The journey has no destination other than exhaustion and death. There is no food, no shelter, and no chance of survival once the penguin travels far enough inland. What made this moment profoundly disturbing was not the outcome, but the calmness with which it unfolded. The penguin did not struggle or resist. It did not cry out or behave erratically. Its movement was steady and quiet, almost peaceful. This absence of drama transformed the moment from a biological anomaly into something deeply philosophical. Werner Herzog himself described the scene as one of quiet madness. Rather than interpreting the behavior purely through scientific explanation, he presented it as an unsettling reflection of existence itself. The penguin's actions seemed to represent a breakdown of meaning within a system built entirely around survival logic. Over time, this moment escaped the documentary and entered broader cultural awareness. It became known online as the Nihilist Penguin. The term does not suggest that the penguin possesses philosophical understanding, but that its behavior mirrors the human concept of nihilism. Nihilism, in philosophical terms, refers to the belief that life lacks inherent meaning, purpose, or objective value. The penguin thus became a powerful metaphor. It symbolized an individual separating from the collective path not out of rebellion or exploration, but out of disconnection. While the rest of the colony continued toward survival, this penguin moved toward nothingness. This image resonated deeply with modern audiences because it reflects experiences common in human life. Society functions similarly to a colony, offering predefined paths that promise stability and meaning. Education leads to employment, employment leads to security, and security is expected to lead to fulfillment. These structures provide direction and comfort, much like the penguin colony provides safety. However, many individuals reach moments when these paths lose significance. The routine becomes exhausting. Goals feel empty. The meaning that once justified effort begins to fade. At such moments, people may not know where they are going, only that continuing in the same direction feels unbearable. This emotional separation mirrors the penguin's physical separation from its colony. The individual does not necessarily move toward improvement or freedom. Often, they move toward uncertainty, loneliness, or psychological collapse. This movement is not dramatic or intentional. It happens quietly, gradually, and without clear explanation. The Nihilist Penguin therefore represents not rebellion, but disorientation. It embodies the moment when instinct fails and belief disappears. It illustrates how beings can continue moving even after purpose has vanished. This symbolism aligns closely with the philosophical idea of the absurd, most notably discussed by thinkers such as Albert Camus. The absurd arises from the conflict between humanity's search for meaning and the universe's refusal to provide answers. Humans desire purpose, order, and explanation, yet existence itself remains silent. The penguin's journey visualizes this conflict perfectly. It is motion without meaning, effort without destination, and persistence without reason. The penguin walks not because it expects reward, but because something inside it has disconnected from survival logic. Unlike traditional narratives, the story offers no moral lesson. It does not suggest that the penguin is courageous, nor does it portray the act as noble. It simply presents the behavior as it is: unsettling, inexplicable, and irreversible. This lack of resolution is central to its power. Tragedy usually involves clear causes and emotional climax. The nihilist penguin offers neither. There is no explanation and no redemption. The event simply occurs and then fades into silence. The colony continues its life, uninterrupted. Other penguins remain unaffected. The world does not pause. This detail reinforces a difficult truth. Individual suffering often goes unnoticed. Systems continue functioning, even as individuals collapse within them. As the image spread across the internet, it became widely referenced in memes, essays, and philosophical discussions. People identified with the penguin not because they wished for death, but because they recognized the feeling of moving forward without understanding why. It symbolized burnout, existential fatigue, and emotional numbness. The nihilist penguin represents the moment when effort continues, but belief no longer exists. When routine replaces hope, when survival becomes mechanical rather than meaningful. In modern life, many people experience similar states. They wake, work, commute, and repeat without feeling connected to their actions. Movement continues, but motivation is absent. Like the penguin, they are not necessarily choosing destruction, but they no longer feel guided by purpose. The story also challenges romantic ideas about individuality. Society often glorifies breaking away from the herd as an act of courage or self-discovery. The nihilist penguin complicates this narrative by showing that separation does not always lead to freedom. Sometimes it leads to isolation. The penguin does not leave confidently. It leaves silently. There is no declaration, no rebellion, and no expression of intent. This quietness makes the moment more disturbing than dramatic. The symbolism extends into mental health awareness. The penguin's behavior reflects how psychological collapse can appear calm from the outside. A person may look functional while internally disconnected from survival instincts. They may continue moving through life, even as meaning dissolves. Importantly, the story does not romanticize despair. It does not encourage nihilism. Instead, it reveals its emotional reality. It shows what existence looks like when meaning disappears, without pretending that disappearance is beautiful. The Antarctic landscape intensifies this symbolism. The endless white ice represents emptiness, silence, and indifference. The penguin gradually becomes indistinguishable from its surroundings, visually reinforcing the idea of individual erasure within an uncaring universe. The camera does not follow the penguin to its death. There is no final scene or closure. The moment simply ends. This absence of resolution mirrors real life, where many existential struggles do not conclude neatly. The nihilist penguin remains powerful precisely because it does not explain itself. It does not answer the questions it raises. It merely presents them. Why does meaning collapse? Why do beings abandon survival? Why does motion continue when belief is gone? The story offers no solutions, no optimism, and no comfort. Instead, it offers recognition. It acknowledges that existence can feel empty, and that such emptiness does not always come with a clear cause. In a world saturated with motivational messages and forced positivity, the nihilist penguin stands apart. It does not promise improvement. It does not suggest that everything happens for a reason. It simply reveals that sometimes reason disappears. This honesty is what makes the image resonate across cultures and generations. It speaks to moments of doubt that language struggles to express. It captures the quiet crises that occurs when meaning dissolves, but life continues. The penguin walks forward, not knowing why. The colony remains behind. The ice stretches endlessly ahead, and the universe offers no response. In this silence lies the essence of the nihilist penguin. Not despair, not rebellion, but the uncomfortable awareness that existence does not always provide answers. The story endures because it reflects a truth many recognize but rarely articulate. Sometimes life continues, not because it makes sense, but simply because it has not stopped.